Left your job and not sure what to do with your old 401k? Today we're going to discuss the top 3 options. Number 1, roll it into your new workplace plan. If you have access to a great 401k or 403b in your new job, this is usually my favorite option. You're looking for low-cost, well-diversified funds as well as low administrative fees. The pros to this are simplification and consolidation, which in general is going to keep your finances more streamlined. Additionally, rolling your old plan into your new plan maintains the consumer protections of the workplace plan called ERISA, and this provides protection against creditors, which could come into play in the case of bankruptcy, as well as a few other more niche cases. The cons include limited investment options, but if the investment options are low cost and well diversified and they are the right options and investment choices for you, then that doesn't really matter. Additionally, rolling over an old workplace plan into a new workplace plan can be a bit of an administrative hassle. So it's something to consider, but definitely not enough to make this a bad choice. Number 2, roll it into a self-managed IRA. The pros of this are you generally get unlimited access to investment choices, and potentially if you already have an IRA, you could be picking up some consolidation benefits here. Some of the drawbacks include losing access to tax-free backdoor Roth IRA contributions, and for high earners, this could be some meaningful tax savings over your lifetime. However, before you start hanging your hat on the backdoor Roth strategy, check out this video that I made about some people who really shouldn't be worried about a backdoor Roth right now. Additionally, some disadvantages of rolling your old workplace plan into an IRA, including losing some of those ERISA protections. These are consumer protections. They were put into place back in the 70s, and they provide really strong protections for workplace plans against creditors, bankruptcy, things like that. Before you roll over a workplace plan into an IRA, make sure that you are fully knowledgeable on the different protections that are afforded to the various types of retirement accounts. Number 3, leave it where it is. This is also an option. A lot of the paperwork that you will get from your old workplace plan when you leave your job can sound doom and gloom and like you have to do something with it in a limited period of time. Occasionally, this is the case, particularly if your balance is less than a few $1,000s, but usually you can leave your workplace plan where it is. Not uncommonly, this will lead to people having multiple old 401k and 403b accounts as they change jobs over the course of their career, but it is a viable option. This could be most preferable if you are taking advantage of the backdoor Roth strategy that we discussed earlier. Also, this is a preferable option if your new workplace plan does not have access to low-cost, well-diversified investments. If the investments in your old workplace plan are more favorable than what's available to you now, then there's a good chance it makes sense to leave the plan where it is. Make sure that you revisit the plan on a regular basis and keep up with the investment mix in the plan and keep it aligned with your goals. Additionally, make sure that you don't lose track of the old plan. Wherever you keep a list of your accounts, you want to be sure to include this one so that if unfortunately anything happens to you, your executor will know where to find this account. The benefit of this is that it is likely the easiest option, at least in the short term. There will be that additional ongoing piece to keep track of. However, you are eliminating some of the paperwork up front of rolling this account somewhere else. Additionally, by maintaining the plan exactly where it is, you are holding on to those ERISA protections that I mentioned earlier, which are the strongest and most absolute consumer protections for your retirement money. Now, there is also a fourth option, although I generally do not recommend you take this option. And you do have the choice of cashing out your retirement plan. Now, it's important to know that when you do that, any pre-tax money that's in the account, your contributions, any employer matching that is vested, if you haven't already paid taxes on those dollars, they're going to be subject to income tax when it comes out. Also, if you're not eligible for an exemption, then you're going to pay a 10% penalty tax on the distribution. So if you're in, let's say, a 24% tax bracket and you haven't paid taxes on any of this money because you got a deduction when it went in, then you're going to be paying 24% taxes plus 10% taxes and maybe also state taxes on the distribution. So if you're looking at a $5,000 401k, you could be down to only $2,500 before you know it. As you can see, the juice is usually not worth the squeeze to try to get that cash out of your 401k. The penalties are steep for a reason because they really want you to keep that money invested for retirement until you reach retirement age. Those are your choices. Usually your paperwork is going to indicate you have about 60 days to make a decision once you leave your job. However, as I mentioned, it's pretty common that you could leave your old 401k where it is and defer this decision. But I am generally a fan of making a decision now, taking action, and getting it off your plate. Go ahead and make the decision that makes the most sense for you, your current, and your long-term goals. For more real-life financial planning tips from a certified financial planning professional, hit the subscribe button to be notified of our next video. See you next time.